Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and today we'll be reading To the Obese and Previously Obese Redditors. What's something about obesity that most people do not know about? If you enjoy, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more. For me, I use food as an unhealthy coping mechanism. I emotionally eat and use food as a reward. I picked up these habits from my parents at a young age. As they got older, my dad's health declined because of what he was eating and drinking. This has scared me for the better to become a healthier individual. We also don't get the best sleep. With things such as sleep apnea and disruptive sleeping patterns because of being overweight or obese, we are generally lethargic. Lack of sleep can also increase weight gain. Right now, I'm trying to reduce my calorie intake and develop better sleeping habits since it has been unhealthy due to university and work. Visibility is the worst and most painful part. In high school, I got up to 240 pounds at 5'11". It happened because I was coping with serious trauma by overeating. It sounds melodramatic, but becoming obese was almost like a secondary trauma. It radically changed the way that I viewed myself and lowered my level of self-worth. It was like everything I privately secretly hated about myself was suddenly public knowledge to every single person I met. It caused a host of other problems that slowed my recovery. Probably the most painful part is that it's an internal struggle made external. You want your struggles to be private, but your weight is the first thing people see about you. It's visible to the world. The world holds you in contempt for it too. Everyone's fighting their own battles, sure, but drinking or any other number of vices is a more socially acceptable coping mechanism. People can hide their drinking without others noticing the consequences for years. The people around you tend to notice weight gain fairly quickly. I'm no longer obese, but there are still sometimes I see that sick, sad, miserable girl when I look in the mirror. I think she's still in me. I have to count every calorie every day to stave off my fear that the world will see her again. Fighting off the crave. Feels like a demon creates a black hole in my stomach and then tries to possess me in order to get me to shovel food into my mouth. Worst part is, once the train starts, it just goes on its own and the demon just watches. Feels terrible. It's so friggin' uncomfortable being huge, sweaty and breathless, only somewhat comfortable at home on the couch in your underwear. Dress up in a suit for a wedding and you're immediately too warm, itchy, stinky, and grouchy. Never comfortable. If it sounds like I'm out of breath when I put on my shoes, it's because I am. Not because it's strenuous, but because my belly is pressing down on my diaphragm and I can't draw a breath. Poor posture. You really don't want to be properly obese long enough to develop a bad posture. Personally need to start working on losing weight soon. Have developed a poor posture and it makes it a pain to stand for a while. Plus, not nice knowing I could be taller if I wasn't wider. Also, too much fat can make lying down aggravating. Fat can sit by your ribs the wrong way, a bit unpleasant. As a footer to fat folk, lose it sooner, not later. The later you wait, the worse you'll feel and look after losing it. Compared to how the average fit person would feel, would still be better than being fat. Being fat sucks. This we all know. Some people decide to use surgery as a means to lose weight. This is not, in any way, the easy way out. Every weight loss surgery program is different, but for mine, there were so many hoops I had to jump through before I could even send in an application to my insurance to see if they would be willing to pay for it. Among other things, I had to attend monthly nutrition classes for 6 months. Each class cost $45, and if you missed one class, you had to restart from month 1 and pay all over again. I had to get medical records for 3+ years showing my weight problem, as well as records of any attempts I made to lose weight, i.e. Weight Watchers, Slim Fast, Atkins, etc. I had to attend a weight loss surgery and support group for at least 2 months, and also needed a psych evaluation. I was also weighed each month, and some programs require you to be actively losing weight for the 6 months you're in nutrition classes. Before you even have the surgery, you have to completely adjust your thinking and your behaviors, which is good. That's what will help you use the surgery successfully. But it certainly wasn't as simple as me walking into the doctor's office and walking out with the surgery date. The surgery itself is also no picnic. I was in so much physical pain that I cried for hours post-op. I have a fairly high pain tolerance, and for the first 4 days, I was in so much pain I could hardly sleep, and every day was miserable. I threw up a lot. Post-op, I couldn't swallow anything more than a tablespoon at a time, and even then, I would nurse that tablespoon for about 15 minutes because I couldn't get it down otherwise. I threw up for weeks. I'm 12 weeks out and I still have problems with keeping some foods down just based on texture. I had to be on a liquid diet 2 weeks before surgery and for nearly 3 to 4 weeks after. I still hate the taste of protein shakes. I don't regret that I did it. A lot of it sucked, but I know it was the right choice. In the year before surgery, I lost 100 pounds, and in the 12 weeks since, I've lost an additional 40. It was the right choice for me, but it was not in any way easy or cheating. I didn't walk into surgery obese and walk out of surgery wearing a dress size 2. There is a lot of work put into it, a lot more than people seem to think. In my experience being overweight basically all my life, I don't know what being thin is like. I'll get there eventually, but until then, I just don't have any idea what it's like. There is this irrational fear surrounding the idea of weight loss. You can recognize that, yeah, you're fat, and you can recognize that being fat is just a bad thing. But when it comes to actually doing the weight loss, it becomes scary. Because you don't know what the end result is. I don't know what I'm going to look like. I don't know what being healthy is going to feel like. Will lifting things be easier? Will walking upstairs be easier? Will it be the same? I don't have any idea because I have no personal experience with it. What if I lose all this weight and it's not what I want? What if I lose it all but I'm still unhappy with myself? What weight should I even be aiming for? How long is this going to take? How long should it take? Losing weight is something that I want to do, but it's something that I want to do to find out if it's something that I want to have done, if that makes any sense at all. And motivation for what is effectively a long-term goal with unpredictable results that may or may not be what I want is extremely difficult. Logically, I realize that when I've lost weight, I'll be more attractive to myself, even if I'm not straight up beautiful in my own eyes. I recognize that just about everything I do in my day-to-day life will be easier, and that my lifespan will be drastically increased. Logically, I get that. But emotionally, my brain says, no, frig that. Why would you invest all that time into avoiding pleasure for such an uncertain goal? I lost 150 pounds, and holy frig, do my joints hurt still. Carrying all that weight had real consequences. Literally everything is harder for you. The most basic stuff like going to the toilet and wiping your butt, dressing yourself, short walks to do some errands, walking upstairs, sitting in chairs, etc. Everything is harder. This topic follows you throughout your whole day, every day. Public transportation, seats are too small and you take more than one seat of space, which makes you feel uncomfortable. People assume that you smell bad and fat equals stupid. Buying clothes is hard, and sometimes because the extra fabric costs more. Finding nice clothes that look good and fit well is so difficult. You cannot just go into a regular store at some point, but have to buy online. Then there is also the pain in different joints or body areas. For me, it is mainly knees and the back. Sitting or laying down is the only way to relieve some stress in those areas. Because your tights are so big, they rub at each other and either rub you bloody, destroy your pants in that area, or the favorite, both. I still have fears of breaking stuff and ask myself if certain things can hold my weight. I've broken my fair share of beds, chairs, and even a table once, which led to me being anxious whenever I visit a new place. Also, low self-esteem. Formerly morbidly obese and 434-pounder here. At that weight, literally everything you do is a challenge. You can easily trip or fall going down steps because you can't see your feet. Here's a few other examples. Going to the theater, baseball game, etc., I hoped the seats would support my weight. Need to use a public toilet, i.e. the type that comes off the wall versus sitting on the ground. Better hope it's securely anchored or else you could face a serious issue. Everything, and I mean everything, hurts. My knees still creak, crack, and make noises. I'll likely have knee problems in the future. Not to be gross, but there's a huge positive difference in below areas. Let's just say that it's much easier to use the bathroom and have sexual relations. I had about 4 chins and my voice changed after losing weight. It became softer and less scratchy. Getting asked to participate in a wedding or other type of formal ceremony is a nightmare. You can't just go to a normal clothing store to try on clothes. Clothing is way more expensive. I shopped at the casual male XL and paid well north of $30 for one crap quality polo shirt that would fall apart in less than 6 months. Ditto with pants. I'll share perhaps the most embarrassing moment of all. I went to a family member's piano recital one cold winter day. My wife and I were a bit late, however there still appeared to be seats. But those seats were plastic lawn chairs on the stackable, low-quality variety. I couldn't sit down, and standing in the aisle wasn't an option because I would block it. I ended up missing the recital and sat in the car until it was over. I could go on and on all day with stories and examples, so I'll shut up for now. This post isn't meant to garner pity either. I don't feel sorry for myself, nor do I think anyone other than me was to blame for letting myself go. I just wanted to give insight into the world of someone who went through it. And that brings us to the end of the video, narwhals. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to consider leaving a like. That really helps the channel out, or subscribing if you haven't yet, to join the narwhals and for more weight loss videos that help you stay on track.